Wanderers on the road to Damascus. Strange things are to be encountered on the long and hot journey to Damascus, greatest of all cities that is acclaimed by the sages as the center of the world. Its roads are roads of pilgrimage and of destiny. The Apostle Paul is asserted in the texts of the Christians to have seen the radiance of God while making his way to the city from Jerusalem. The dangers on the desolate road from the east are great, and lights seen there are apt to have hellish import, for at night on its remote stretches it is haunted by bandits, wolves, and jinn of infernal fire that float upon the air and vanish with mocking laughter. In spite of these threats, life never ceases to flow along the road, even as blood flows in the veins of a living creature, for Damascus is the heart that pumps it. A traveler of our own race making his way upon this road from the land of the Persians once crossed the path of the lover of his youth. Conveyed along a more northerly route in a caravan of numerous retainers and armed guardians. Coming upon it, he marveled at its rich wagons and finely equipped mounted knights, whose ceremonial armor jingled and rang with the music of bells. He discovered that the caravan was his former lover's bridal escort, for the woman was on her way to be wed to a prince at Constantinople. Her father, the king of Yemen, had recently expired, due to a curious accident involving a falling stone, and her brother, newly risen to the throne and still uncertain of his power, had sought to forge an alliance by pledging her hand to an elderly ruler she had never seen in her years of life. She did not recognize the traveler as the lover of her childhood, for his face was horrifyingly disfigured, and though he might have used a simple glamour of magic to present to her a false visage, he chose to meet her eyes unchanged, and found to his amazement that his heart was unmoved by the haughty glance from her curtained coach as she passed. So completely had the fire of love that had once burned in his heart fallen to ashes. In truth, it has been spoken that all wounds are healed with the passage of time, yet not without scars. He watched the caravan pass from sight and beyond hearing, and followed in its track until dark. And when the camp was asleep, he entered the tent of the sleeping princess and took from her private jewel case a pendant he had given her as a pledge of his love so many years before. It was not a thing of value, but to reclaim it, it amused him. In its place, he put a living scorpion, then softly closed the lid of the box. His power of magic made it an easy matter to enter and leave the armed camp without discovery. Not wanting to learn the outcome of his little jest, he returned to his own road and continued on his way to Damascus. Upon this road are to be encountered at intervals bright yellow wagons enclosed by wooden canopies that serve as the living places of a devious and arrogant people erroneously believed to originate in Egypt, although they have no appearance of the pure-blooded Egyptians presently to be found in Memphis or Alexandria. Nor do they resemble the wandering bands of tinkers who derive their name among the common people from the land of the Nile. This degenerate sect call themselves Thugyans, which in their tongue signifies the crafty race, and roam throughout the world with impunity. They may be known by the image of a red eye, tipped on its point and standing upright, which they paint upon the fronts of their wagons. Wherever they go, they earn the reputation of thieves and vagabonds, having no fixed homes, neither do they possess dedicated professions, but make their living. The men by cutting wood or shaping pots or grinding knives, and the women by assisting at childbirths and divination with the lines of the palm. At any rate, these are their purported occupations, for it is well known that the men gain most of their wealth through theft, and the women through whoring and the inducing of abortions, along with the sale of love philters. A few among our scholars have speculated that they are the descendants of Cain the accursed, who, when marked by God after the murder of his brother, was shunned by all creatures. Others believe they are the lost tribe of Israel, condemned to wander the world yet never to find a home. It seems a more probable conjecture that they came from the distant east, harried from their place of dwelling by the Greek conqueror Alexander, who led his armies into India and despoiled many uncouth and pagan realms before succumbing to disease. As for their more primal origins, understanding may be found in the 7th book of Herodotus, in which the historian describes a Persian tribe called Sagartians, who fought in the ranks of the great army of Xerxes. They are hated and shunned in every land, so that even the nameless bands of wanderers seek to slay them whenever they encounter their piss-colored wagons. For they say that the Thugians pretend to be them, and poison the minds of townsfolk against all wayfarers. To avoid the wrath of their foes, the Thugians never make camp for more than a few nights in one place. The road itself is their home, and they obey no laws other than those they have formed. The men are resolute and bold, with handsome faces and strong bodies, while the women possess a dark beauty. In each traveling band, one among them is known as their lord, and to him they give grudging obedience, though in truth they all carry themselves with a haughtiness of noble blood, and offer no more than a guarded acquaintance to those not of their own race. Their children are without playfulness. Even at the age of 5 years, they mimic the distant and appraising looks of their parents, and go about walking rather than running, and silent rather than laughing. It is an easy matter for a necromancer, versed in the arcane arts, to gain their sufferance as a travel companion, for the women are ever eager to learn new methods of magic, though they share little of their own knowledge in return. Their interests are of a petty sort, for they value only charms that can be turned to a profit or used to injure their enemies without fear of detection. Though both men and women are fearless in battle, they do not scruple to employ deceit where it suits their purposes. In their souls is a harsh joy for life, but no gentleness or kindness, either toward beasts or men. When Christian monks or followers of the prophet on the road in pilgrimage ask about their faith, they pretend that they worship the sun and moon, but if pressed for the details of their beliefs, they cease to speak and turn away with sullen expressions. This is merely a pretense, for no race in this world is so skillful at lies. A traveler who rides and camps with them along the road, and who observes their ways with keen attention, will be able to discern the matter they wish to conceal. In every family wagon, they keep a portable shrine made of carved sandalwood, with closed doors that hide its contents. Each night, the father makes worship before this shrine, and before the idol it holds, leading his family in chants and prayer. This is done within the wagon, after its entrance has been sealed against the night by the light of an oil lamp, and his slaves, if he has sufficient wealth to own slaves, remain outside the wagon. The traveler who has succeeded in gaining a portion of the trust of this strange race, for no outsider can ever gain their complete confidence, will be able to purchase for gold a brief glance within one of these shrines. He will discover that the goddess of these wanderers is an obscene form of Shub-Niggurath, the goat of 1,000 young. The Thugians keep numerous goats, which serve them for meat, milk, and cloth, and they value fertility in their women above all other virtues or beauties. They believe that Shub-Niggurath blesses them with abundance both of their livestock and in the number of their children. They venerate the womb and the things that issue from it, and for this reason their female infants are valued as highly as their males. It is their faith that they hold a unique covenant with Shub-Niggurath established in the most ancient times for the recording of histories, and that for so long as they uphold their part in this bargain, the goddess will favor them with fertility. The image of Shub-Niggurath kept in their family shrines is not to be seen elsewhere in the known world, though perhaps it is common in the undiscovered land of their origin. It consists of a small stone idol in the shape of a dancing woman, her breasts and vulva exposed, her hair is ragged, her eyes blaze with fury, and her tongue hangs from her open mouth, which is distorted by a leer of lust. About her neck hangs a long necklace made up of human skulls. Her swollen belly shows that she is pregnant. Men and women touch the belly of this image when they seek to conceive children, and before coupling chant the words, Ayai igatu il-ro-kana Shub-Niggurath, which may be translated into our tongue from the language of the Old Ones. Fulfill thou thy covenant with the crafty race, Shub-Niggurath. They chant the words but have forgotten their meaning, since no Thugian understands the tongue of the being they serve.